Okay. So today what we are going to do is we are going to learn basic styling. Okay. We are going to start with CSS today. So we are going to just cover some basic styling so that you guys get introduced to CSS as well. Okay. Right. If you notice in both the slides, all the elements are same, right? No new elements are added. Can you see any new element added here on the right slide? No, right? But the web pages look very different because CSS was added. So what all differences can you see? Background color is added and font style is different, size is added, and yes, positioning is changed, formatting is done, and so basically many things are added to this. Okay, so the same elements look like this when we add CSS. Okay, so now we are going to get started with CSS. So guys, there are three types of ways how we can add styles. Anybody knows? One is inline style, internal and external. Okay, so today we are only going to talk about inline styling and external styling. We will slowly get started with internal styling as well. Okay, to add styles to any HTML element, we use this style attribute. Okay, and the attribute should always come inside the element. Okay, for example, are you all aware of CodePen now? Started working on that? So now how do I create a paragraph? Angle brackets open, P, and then angle brackets open, / P. Okay. So now here I'm saying this is a paragraph. Okay. So now if you want to add any styles to this, first you need to have a style attribute. Okay. Whenever you're styling an element by giving a style attribute inside that tag, it is called as, so this is inline styling here. So now let's see how do we add styles to the HTML element. Okay. So here, if I want to change the color, okay, all I need to do here is inside this double quotes, I need to have color and then colon blue. Can you guys see? Color is added to the paragraph. So now similarly, what I want is I want to have red. So red color is added, right? So similarly, if I want to have a background color, so I cannot simply write like this. What I need is I need a semicolon, background, color. So look at this. This background and this color are two different words. So always have a hyphen in between, and after that colon, and then I want to give background color as blue. Background color is added. Okay, clear? So what is this? What is this type of styling called as? It is inline styling. Okay. So now if I want to change the font size, for example, the size is this, I want to change the styling. Okay. I want to change the font size. So all you need to do here is font size. So I'll make it 40 pixels. Can you see the size has increased here? I'll remove the background color and I'll be removing the color as well. So always remember when you are adding one more style, make sure that they are separated by semicolon. Okay. Always make sure that your styles are separated by semicolon. Okay. And yeah, so now I'm going to remove this. So now I only have font size, which is 40 pixels. Is this clear? Any doubts still here? So this is how we add inline styles to the HTML element. So now moving ahead. So here are a few basic styles which we are going to learn today. So we are going to cover them. We have seen font size, we have seen color. So now what is this custom font? What is this box model? What is margin? What is padding? What is font weight, border radius, shadow? So today we are going to cover most of them. So that is what we are going to do today. Okay. So now, okay, so what I'll do is I'll have a paragraph. Okay, and to the paragraph, I want to give background color, background color, let's say red. This is paragraph 1. Okay, so now similarly, I will want to have one more paragraph. This is paragraph 2. Okay. So now I'm going to have 100 paragraphs like this. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we have 100 paragraphs, so if I want all my paragraphs to have a background color red, so do you think it is very easy to keep adding, keep writing styles like this? No, right? There should be some better way. Okay. So now what we are going to do here is we are going to have an attribute called as class. Okay. So to each paragraph element, I'm going to give a class attribute and the class name will be para. Okay. So now what I will do, I will give the class name to all the paragraphs like this. For example, I'm just giving the class name to paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. Okay. All right. So now let's start coding in our CSS file. Okay. So now what I will do is I want the background color blue, or let's say I'll just give the color for now. I want color blue for my paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. So here I'll give color blue. Do you think CSS file will understand if I just give background color back? I just gave color blue here. Do you think CSS file will understand for which elements the color blue should be applied? No, right? We should give some instructions as in to which elements the color should be applied. Okay. So now here, first what we need to do here is in CSS file, we need to select the elements. Okay. Right. So now how do we select the elements? If I do dot para, if I just do dot para, it means that select all the elements with the class name paragraph. Okay. Here the class name is not paragraph, it is para. So dot para means select all the elements whose class name is para. Okay. So now if I do dot para and then curly braces open and then curly braces close. So now if I put color inside this, so now what we are saying is apply these styles to all the HTML elements whose class name is para. Can you see now paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 have background color, sorry, color blue. Is this clear? So now similarly, if I want to have color blue to my fourth paragraph, what do we need to do? Exactly. We need to simply give an attribute class para. Can I have para 1 here? Can I have para 1 here? See, I am having para 1 here, but did that have that color? Did my paragraph 4 get the color blue? No, right? So here what instructions we have given? Only select the element which have a class name as para. Okay. So here this paragraph 4 did not get that color blue because it does not have a class name para. Okay. So now here if I now give class name para, see even that has got color blue. Clear? Anybody has any doubts still here? So that was about attribute class. Okay. So now what I want is in my CSS file, I want to style only one element. Okay. I want to style only one element. So in our schools, in our colleges, we were given ID, right? Roll numbers ID. Why did we have roll numbers and IDs? Identification. But we already have our names for identification. Exactly. So if a person has a name, other person in that classroom might also have the same name, right? So there might be confusion. But is our ID name or roll numbers ever repeated? No, it will never be repeated. So that is associated only with that person, right? So that is the reason why IDs are important. So now if I only want to style my paragraph 5 in my CSS file, what I need to do here is I need to give an attribute ID. Okay, ID equal to here I'm giving the ID name as P5. Okay, so now how do we select the elements by their ID name? Exactly, hash. So now here if I give hash P5, hash P5, so it means that select all the elements with the ID name P5 and then give this styles. Okay, so here I'm going to give yellow. Can you see paragraph 5 got the color yellow. Okay. So, so now what I'll do is to this paragraph 6 also I'll give ID as P5. Okay. If you notice, our sixth paragraph also got that color yellow. But the thing is, see, it is completely possible that two elements can have the same ID name. But this should never happen. Okay. It is not a good practice to give same ID name to multiple elements. Okay. So if an element has some ID name, that should never be repeated. It is not a good practice. Clear? You can give, it will not give you any error, but it is not a good practice. The ID name should never be repeated, but the class names can be repeated. Okay. The whole purpose of giving a class attribute is to style multiple elements at once. Okay. And the whole purpose of ID is to select one particular element. So now what I need to do? So now if I want to style my paragraph 6, I'll give P6 here. Okay. So now hash P6. So to this, I'm going to give color green. Okay, we got this here. So now if I want to give background color, I'll say, I'll give white, or it is already white. What I'll do is I'll give brown. So now we have applied these two styles to our paragraph 6 by selecting that element based on its ID name. Clear? Yeah. So as when we style the elements in our CSS file, this is called as external styling. Okay. This is called as external styling. When we style elements by by using the style attribute inside that element tag only, then it is called as inline styling. Okay. So now there is one more left, which is, what is that? Any idea? Exactly. It is internal styling is left. We are going to cover that later. Okay. So now what I want to do here is, see, here I have given to my paragraph 5, I have given color as yellow, right? So now what I'll do, here also I'll have a style attribute. So here also what I will do is I'll give color as, let's say, here to my paragraph 5, I've given color yellow, right? But here to my paragraph 5, what I'll do is I'll give color as brown. So what do you think? Which styles will be applied? Will it get color yellow or color brown? See, there is a confusion here, right? I'm applying that, I'm applying styles to that element in my CSS files also. And here I'm using inline styles also, right? What do you think will happen? Here, what I'll do is, here I'll give color as brown. So we are going to get color brown. Can you see paragraph 5 got color brown? Because inline styles will have more priority than external styles. Okay. So always remember, when you gave same style here in the inline styles as well as in the external styles, the inline styles will always have more priority than external styling. Okay. That is the reason why here color brown is given to that paragraph 5. Okay. So now to this paragraph 6, we have given color as green, right? So now what I'll do here to this paragraph 6, I will give style attribute. I'll make it color yellow. What do you think will happen now? Can you see it got yellow color? Okay, styles came here. Is this clear to everyone? How do we add inline styles? How do we add external styles? Which has more priority? How do we? Yes, internal has inline, sorry, inline has more priority. And how do we separate each styles? By using semicolon. Okay. So now moving ahead, we have seen ID, we have seen class attribute. And coming to this is called as box model. Okay. So before I teach you box model, I want to teach margin. So what is margin? So in schools, when we used to write down notes, we used to leave some margin from the left, right? We used to leave some margin from the left and then start writing. Okay. Similarly, here also, I'll remove all this. So if I want my, by default, it has some margin. Okay. But if I want my paragraph to start by leaving some space on the left. Okay. So if I want this to leave some space on the left and then start, what I can do is first I need to select this. So I'm going to give this an ID P1. So how do I style this in my CSS file? Hash P1. Okay. So now if I want to leave some margin, where do I want to leave? I want to leave some margin on the left side, right? So here I need to give margin left as I'll give 30 pixels. Can you see it is leaving some margin on the left? So now similarly, if I want to have some margin on the top, what I need to do? Exactly, margin top. So now it is leaving some margin on the top. Okay. Is this clear? Right. So now what I'll do is this is our margin, and what I can do is I can simply write margin like this also, no problem. If I give margin 10 pixels, so now what do you think will happen? Okay. So what will happen is we can give margin top, we can give margin bottom, margin left, and then margin right also. Okay. So if I did not mention any direction here, so this margin will be applied on all the four sides. Okay. So now here, if I show you, so this Lorem Ipsum is the website where which developers use for just for dummy text. Okay. Right. I got that text. Okay. So now what I want is I want some margin on the right side. Okay. So if you notice by default we are having some margin. I'll tell why that is happening. So here I'm going to leave some margin on the right side, 100 pixels. Can you see it is leaving some margin on the right side? Similarly, what I'll do is I'll give 200 pixels. So it is leaving 200 pixels margin on the right side. Okay. So now what I want is margin left. I'll give 100 pixels margin. It is not working. Why? Exactly. We should separate these two styles by using semicolon. So now we have added margin left 100 pixels and we have also given margin on the right side. Is this clear? So now similarly I'll also have margin top. Margin top I'll give 100 pixels. So on the margin top we have given 100 pixels margin. So this is how you give margins to your HTML element.